So I'm going to circle the first one right here. Right, that's the first lattice point. Then AJ said 0, 1 and 3, 3. Both are correct. I'm going to stick with 3, 3 since you said that first. But 0, 1 would give you less work. Okay? So if I'm trying to find, does someone remember what that formula looks like? M equals, yeah. You remember the skier?
Oh,
Rise over run. Yep. So we're going to rise. It looks like 4. So I'm going to draw that line to show that I'm going up 4. And then I'm going to write 4 over here. M equals 4. And then I'm going to run. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to run 6.
That's how we do it.
But then how? That's not simplified, right? So what would that equal?
2 over 3.
Perfect. Yeah. So you're going to divide the top and bottom by 2 because that's what goes into both of those numbers. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay? So that 2 over 3 is the slope for this graph. But if we had circled this lattice point, like AJ corrected himself, the 0, 1 point, we would go up 2 and right 3, and that would give us our answer right away. Good morning. Okay? So let's do this one on the top right. David, can you come up and point to a lattice point for me? Any of them?
Which one are we doing?
Up here. The top right one.
Top right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, almost. Remember, it's where the line crosses both the Y and an X line.
Because it was a Y and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Is that right? The passes. And I were writing notes for him, so that's where he should be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yep. Perfect. That is a lattice point. So I'm going to circle that. Thank you, David.
No problem.
And then I'm going to circle the next closest one that I see.
You circle those two.
Now, you could circle this one. You could circle this one. You could circle that one. But because we're reading left to right, remember, just like we read words left to right, we also read lines left to right. So I'm going to start with this point on the left.
My line don't go straight like that.
Do what?
It don't go like that. It don't go like that. It go like
Your line doesn't? -1, 0, and then 2, 0. That's there. Or 0, 2. I'm sorry. 0, 2. Right there. So then I'm going to start with my first lattice point, and I'm going to rise 2. And I'm going to run 1.
this cold. This back over here.
I'm sorry. You can, that's okay. I don't mind that. So what would my slope be for this one? If we rose 2 and ran 1. 2, 1? 2 over 1. Yep. Okay. Can someone come up here and circle or point to another lattice point for this one for me? Jaden, you want to? You told me no yesterday. Okay. Dacia? No? Cody or Danye? Mike? Nobody? Okay. I am going to circle. Is it because you don't know where it is? Or is it because you don't want to get up because it's first hour?
No, I'm not saying that. It's I get the line part.
You don't know it? So the lattice point, the point of finding the lattice point is so that we can find what the slope is. Okay? Without the lattice points, you can't find the slope. So the lattice point, again, is where a vertical line, a horizontal line, and then the line that's graphed crosses. So there's going to be several of those. We see one right here. We see another one right here. And it looks like those are the only two on that whole graph. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line to show how many I'm going to rise. I'm going to go up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's rise 6 and run 1. And what does that look like then? My slope. 6 over 1. Perfect, because I rose 6 and I ran 1. Okay? Does that make more sense, Jaden? And Daisha? A little bit? Okay. We're going to keep practicing. This one's really easy, except it's negative. Do you know why it's negative?
Because it's going through the negative axis.
Because it's going through the what axis?
Axis.
Not exactly.
Y axis. X axis.
So it's negative because if we're reading left to right, the line is going down. All of these other ones, when we went left to right, it was going up, right? Up, up. But over here, when you go left to right, it's going down. So that's going to be a negative slope. Okay? So I'm going to circle any lattice point you want. There's one on every line. See? All those where the line crosses. But I'm just going to circle 2. And I'm going to go down 1 and right 1. So what would my slope be for that? Instead of rising up 1, I went down 1.
It's 2.
No?
3, 2.
It's going to be negative 1 over 1. Because I went down 1 and over 1. So if the line was positive, I would be going up 1 and right 1. But because it's negative, it's down. But even though you're not rising up, you can't really say rising down, but you're going down, so you're just using that same number. You're keeping it in the same fraction. Okay? I promise we're going to have more practice with this today, okay?
No.
Then you'll understand it better, though. Okay, does everyone have that down? Okay. So you should all get 2s on your openers, right? Because you didn't have to do it yourself. We're just going over it together. Okay, go ahead and turn over to the back. We are used to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, does someone want to walk me through it? When x equals 0? Go ahead.
3x negative 2 parentheses 0.
Almost. If we're doing x equals 0,
Oh, it's x. Okay. So then it would be parentheses 0
good.
and negative 2 y equals 12.
Okay, then what?
Now it's going to be 0.
So I'm just going to scratch that out, right?
So then you have to divide 2. So it's going to be negative 2. So 2 and divide negative 12.
Perfect.
And then
It's 12 divided by negative 2.
like you already said the answer.
Do you say it? That's okay. What was it? Negative 6? Yep. And good job remembering the negative. And then how do I write that? If I know y equals negative 6.
It's going to be 0 parentheses negative 6.
Perfect. Okay. And how about for this one? Someone else want to help me out? Daisha, you sounded like you knew what you were doing.
3x negative 2 parentheses 0
Mm-hmm.
equals 12.
Good.
Take out the negative 2 0
Mm-hmm.
and divide by 3.
Both sides? And what's that equal?
4.
Sorry, I started writing that before you gave me a chance. And what's the ordered pair going to look like?
4 0.
Perfect. And then when I graph it, I've got the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So 0, negative 6. I'm going to start at the origin, and I'm not going to go left or right because it's a 0, so I'm going to go down 6. And then for my x-intercept, I'm going to start at the origin and go right 4. Positive 4. Oh. And then I'm going to stay right there. Because it's a 0, so I'm not going to go up or down. And then what are those things that we have to remember when making a line?
Just straight X, go through the coordinate and then put the arrows.
The arrows, yep. All the way through the coordinate plane. Ugh. And it has to go through both points.